All right, so this right here is the smart YouTube growth strategy for busy creators. All right, so it's going to give you a couple different things to think about, and then also some things you can implement so you can start saving a massive amount of time when it comes to creating content on YouTube. All right, so let's get into this Google Doc. So as you can see right here, step number one is choose an easy to produce content format. All right, now we got to think about why this works. Obviously, not all content takes a massive amount of time to do. There's some easier formats that can start saving you a massive amount of time, and I'm gonna share with you a couple different ones. These content formats are gonna make editing a lot easier for you, and it's gonna allow you to be more consistent because it's easy to produce these types of formats. All right, so let's continue. So if we go down here, these are some of the formats that I want to share with you and some of the benefits of them. All right, so we got talking head plus simple edits, and you can see it's just you and the camera and minimal effects. Now, this is extremely important, right? Because that means that if all you got to do is get you a tripod, sit that tripod in front of you and start recording, that's just you and the camera. And then when it comes to the editing, you go and you make simple edits. Now, one thing I will give you a tip on is if you are doing talking head, one of the things you want to do to kind of spice the video up a little bit is you can add in like pictures to describe what it is you're talking about. And then on top of that, you can use B-roll, which is just something that describes, once again, what you're talking about, but you're doing it through a video versus just a visual. Okay, so that's how you want to go about talking head videos. Now, with the talking head videos, the pro tip is batch record in the same setting so all videos look cohesive. Now, this also plays into the time as well, because if every time you come and you record, if everything is already set up, then all you got to do is just record. And then if you got multiple videos, then you can record this video, then you record this video. And really the only thing that you're doing is you're switching your shirts, right? So you might got your red shirt for this video, yellow shirt for this video, your green shirt for this video, or whatever it is that you're doing, or you might put a hat on, or whatever your style is. But it's important for you to keep a lot of these things in mind when you sit down and record. You don't want to be having to move things over here or over there, all these different spots, right? Because that's when it becomes like you start to feel a little bit burnt out. You're like, man, I've been moving so much, now I don't even have time to record my video. All right, so it's very, very key. Okay, all right, so now the next style is screen recordings and tutorials. Now I like these because you get to teach something directly from your screen. And the beauty about it, the beauty is that you don't really have to be on camera to actually shoot these videos, right? There's YouTube channels out there that literally create videos, and all they do, you just hear their voice and you see something on the screen, right? A very simple content format, all right? Now, some benefits is, which I already talked about, you don't have to be on camera, and they're quick to film and edit. When I do these screen recordings, because this video that I'm recording right now is a screen recording, it's just the difference is I'm down in the right corner, right? So it's easy to record these type of videos. All right, and then right here, a pro tip, I use Descript to do like screen recording and also editing my videos, because when I use Descript, it's quick, right? I don't spend a whole lot of time editing, right? Especially since they got the AI edit where literally I cut out the filler words, the jump cuts, all that stuff, and then I go back and figure out, okay, what do I want to keep? What do I not want to keep? It really simplifies the process, all right? All right, so now let's move on to the next style. Reaction and commentary videos. These allow you to react to content with minimal preparation. Now, this is key, right? Because if you already have your view on something that has happened in your space, you don't have to do a whole lot of preparing for that. You already know what's your stance on that. You know how that made you feel. So it's just a matter of you reacting or doing some type of commentary on something that already happened. You give your view, and then that's the video. Now, if you want to save even more time with those type of things, you could do a live stream. Instead of creating a video and then having to go back and edit that video, you could just go live, react, and then guess what? After the live is over, your content is done, right? There's no editing involved. So you just save yourself even more time with that. All right, so now, and I pretty much hit on all these because these are just some strategies that I've done and then also recommended to other people to do, so that way, you know, they can kind of save themselves a bunch of time. Okay, so now the next style is a Q&A and FAQ video. These answer audience questions in a structured format. Now, this could be people have questions in your comments sometimes, and then what you could do is you could look at that question and turn that into a video. This is something I've done with YouTube Shorts. I've also done this with regular videos where I take somebody's comment and I turn that into a video. And then also you can go on forum sites like Quora, Reddit, and then also sometimes you'll get questions in the DMs from either customers you have right now, and then also people who may be potential customers, and then you can turn that into content as well. These can be shorter videos, especially when you know your stuff. That's the important part in this. Like, you got to know your stuff. Like, whatever your space is, your niche or your space or whatever industry you're in, if you know your stuff, then these videos won't take you long. Like, you don't have to do a whole bunch of, structuring out and all this stuff. You don't have to do that. You just know your stuff. Boom, let me create this video and I'm done. All right. Let's move on to step number 2. So step number 2 is plan and batch record your content in advance. All right. Now, why does this work? Well, planning removes decision fatigue. You're not sitting there thinking, oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to do it this way right at the moment where you're supposed to be doing it. And then now all of your time is wasted. So you want to eliminate decision fatigue. Okay. All right. So let's get into it. So how do you actually do it? Because I could just tell you to do that and then don't give you an actual method to implement. Step number 1, you want to set 1 to 2 days per month for planning. Okay, and the reason I say this is because I feel like a channel should be doing at least 1 video a week. So if you do 1 video a week and you record 4 videos in 1 day, you just created all of the content for the month. Okay, so if you choose 1 to 2 days per month to actually plan your videos, so that's going on YouTube and doing keyword research where you type it in and you see, okay, what auto populates. When you see what auto populates, then you know what content you should be creating. That's why it's important to understand who is it that you're targeting in the first place. All right, so now I covered this part here, which is coming up with your video topics in bulk. So that way you're prepping yourself. You're also laying out your bullet points and also a script. When it comes to script, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but when you know your stuff, you're able to just kind of go through and really hit the points that you want to cover inside of your content, right? But essentially what I'm talking about is this step number 2 here, which is when you do your video topics in bulk and you do your keyword research and then you start mapping out, okay, these are the things that I'm going to talk about. What you also want to make sure that you're doing is you want to make sure that you first have demand from those topics, number 1, and then you start to bullet your stuff out. And then as you can see right here, it says not word for word, because one of the most difficult things is trying to record a video and trying to say every word that you have on your piece of paper. That takes a massive amount of time, and it also prevents you from coming off natural, right? And the way that you come off natural is if you know your stuff, you're gonna be more confident, right? You're gonna be more confident when you're speaking. So it's important to bullet point and then have a gradual flow as you're going throughout your video, right? All right, so let's go back up here. So another thing, map out your content pillars so every video aligns with your niche and what you offer. All right, so this speaks more to a content entrepreneur. If you have an offer, then what I would recommend, I'm gonna do a dedicated video on this and show you exactly how I go about this. But what you wanna have is, this is your niche, and then this is your offer. And you wanna pair those, that way your content aligns along the journey of whatever it is that you offer, right? So that way you're not creating videos that are just out there, not speaking to your target audience, which ultimately leads to you not generating as much leads and not also generating much sales, right? And the same thing could be applied when it comes to affiliate marketing as well. You have certain products that you're promoting. You want to make sure that your content aligns with those products, which ultimately leads to you getting more sales with those products, all right? All right. And then right here, the Google Docs, that's just how I track most of my stuff. I'll put my ideas inside of a Google Doc, and then as I see things on YouTube and I'm kind of scrolling, then I just put that idea in there and I see how I can go about, bringing that to my audience. All right. So that's another thing that you can do. Okay. So now right here It says use this formula to create your hooks. All right, so this is my hook formula. It's a very, very simple hook formula, and I'm gonna show you an example of how it can be done. Start with a promise. Like, you start your video, hey, this is exactly what you're gonna get, XYZ, and then you show proof that the promise is real and you give a good expectation of what's to come later. That way they have something to look forward to. And then once you hook them, you start to get into the content, right? So here's an example right here. So only have a few hours a week. Well, in this video, I've helped busy creators rank, grow, and get leads without daily uploads. And by the end of this video, you'll have a simple step-by-step plan, XYZ 1, 2, 3, whatever that step-by-step plan is. And then I usually state my name and then I say, okay, let's get into the content, right? If you watched a couple of my videos, you'll notice that's essentially what I do, but it's a simple formula that you can use. And then once you take that formula, matter of fact, I would recommend you either screenshot real quick that formula. Let me go back up to it. Start with a promise, show proof, and so on and so on. Screenshot that real quick here in the video and then put it into ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT, make all of my hooks using this formula here. And as far as time, I typically like to have my hooks no longer than 20 seconds, usually about 15, and you can give it a time length, and what it'll do is it'll start to craft hooks that are essentially that length. All right, so now that was the good example. And then the bad hook would be, hey everyone, today we're talking about growing on YouTube with limited time. Let's get into it. No, absolutely not, right? You don't want to do your hooks like that. You want to do something that's going to hook people in. Now in this video, I just started straight into the content. There wasn't really a need for a hook in this because I wanted to start delivering value right from the jump, right? All right, so let's move on. Okay, so step number 3 of that process, and I kind of already talked about this, which is you want to record 3 to 5 videos so that way you have all of your content done in one day. 4 videos. I recommend 4 because, you know, there's about 4 weeks in every month. So 4 videos would get you through the entire month. But the only other thing is consistent lighting and your background changes. If you do want to do a background change, have something simple, right? So if you got like something behind you, just there's these things they sell out there that can change your background literally in the span of a second. Just make sure that you have consistent lighting. That's the biggest thing I'll tell you, all right? The thing about having consistent lighting, if you are someone who doesn't have lighting, like right now I have lighting. In the past, I used to use the sun. The thing about the sun is at certain times, it looks like the sun is super high and hitting you at a certain angle and it's looking, it's looking a certain way. But then there's times where the sun is not shining crazy bright and then it changes your lighting. That's why I mentioned consistent lighting. Make sure you get yourself some lighting. It doesn't have to be super expensive. You just want to get something that highlights your face. It brights you up a little bit. And then that way you don't have to worry about depending on the sun. Now, if you're really on a budget, okay, depend on the sun, but just make sure you get your recording in within a specific time before the sun does what it does, all right? All right, so now let's go to step number 3. So use AI and templates to speed up your editing. Now, this is extremely important for your time. AI will help you save a massive amount of time, and I'm not kidding you, right? So we're not going to get into why this works. I'm sure you know, like the amount of time that could be saved with AI and the different things that you can do that can speed up your workflow. So let's just kind of get into how do you do it. These are the tools that I use. So I use Descript to do fast editing. It takes care of my editing. These are all the things that it does. Auto captions, jump cut removal, text-based editing, which is you edit the text and it updates what's going on in the video. That saves a massive amount of time in itself. All right, next thing, Submagic. This repurposes my long videos into short form content, which is going to be good for not only YouTube, but other platforms as well. And we're going to get into that as well. All right, next thing, Pixels. So Pixels allows me to do thumbnails. I literally put a prompt in, it generates a thumbnail. And if you saw the thumbnail before clicking this video, Pixels generated that thumbnail, and all I did was created a template, a structure for it to generate characters that somewhat look like me. And so that way, as soon as the thumbnail is generated, the only thing I do is I put my face on that thumbnail, and now I'm in that thumbnail without having to do a whole bunch of work, okay? All right, now, pre-made templates. This is me getting into the templates that I have inside of Descript. So inside of Descript, I got certain lower thirds, I have certain overlays, I also have certain transitions that I use. And then this right here, like the intro and outro structure. So that's more or less like how do I do my hook. So earlier in the video, I talked about my hook formula, and then I told you also the time limit that I use. I try to have my hooks less than 20 seconds, so that way I'm not wasting people's time. You can put all of that into ChatGPT, pretty much just like I said earlier, and then you'll have a structure for every single hook. These are all things that I have structure for. You want to create a system. All right, now let's go down. Thumbnail consistency. So obviously I use pixels. So now I have a thumbnail prompt analysis where I pretty much have trained AI to generate thumbnail prompts based on the title of my video is. And it's gotten very, very good at doing it. So now when I give it the title, it gives me the idea, I go and I generate it, which is the exact same thing that I did for this thumbnail for this specific video. All right, so let's go to step number 4. This gets into repurposing one video, and it's going to create you massive amount of other videos that you can share in multiple places, okay? All right, so let's get past the why it works. Typically, I like to explain why something works, but you can kind of get why being able to repurpose your videos is going to bring in more visibility for you. All right, so now how do I do it? I turn one YouTube video into YouTube Shorts, TikToks, Instagram, and Facebook Reels. These are all things you can do. Now, my Instagram account for the Video Marketing Masterminds had a little bit of issues there lately, so I haven't really been doing anything there, but you can use these to break down your content into more pieces of content, which will ultimately bring more visibility, more eyes over to your main thing that you're trying to focus on. All right, now YouTube community and social posts. So you can extract key insights for your engagement posts. I've actually been, being a lot more consistent with my YouTube community posts and really using AI to save a massive amount of time. The key thing with AI is you want to make sure when you're doing it, that you're training the AI on your stuff, right? So some people will just try to use AI on its own. The most powerful way to use AI is to actually give it things that you've already posted online. So I'll take a bunch of my Facebook posts or a bunch of my transcripts or a whole bunch of different things of mine, and I'll train AI on those things so that way it starts to understand who I am. And that's the most powerful way to actually use AI. All right, so now email content. So email content, I got a dedicated video here on this channel that shows exactly how I use my transcripts and I turn them into email content, and then I send that to my list. It's very, very simple. I'll possibly link that down below. If I forget, just go ahead and drop a comment down below and let me know, hey, I would love to see that video, and I'll definitely drop it down there, all right? All right, so now let's move on. All right, so step number 5, this is extremely important. You want to stick to a simple, repeatable posting schedule, okay? Simple, repeatable posting schedule. One thing I do want to pop out is consistency beats frequency every single time. What do I mean by that? So if I post every Monday or at least once a week, every single week, my audience gets used to that. Some sort of like a sitcom, right? Versus if I post 2 weeks consistently and then all of a sudden I disappear. That's the difference in what I mean by consistency beats frequency every single time. All right. All right. So let's move on past the other stuff, right? So this is how you actually do it. All right. So you want to decide on a posting frequency you can maintain. So this is how I want to make this real simple for you. If you're super busy, you want to do 1 high quality video a week. 1 to 2 videos a week is what I've averaged on this channel. I started this channel March 6th of 2021. And then from there, I've been pretty much measuring out to that 1 to 2 videos every week. All right. And now if you have some flexibility, then 2 to 3 videos a week. I would really lean more to that 2, because when you get into 3, things start to get pretty hectic, right? Now, obviously you can use some of the things that I'm talking about in here to save you a massive amount of time, but it does start to get hectic once you hit 3, all right? All right, so now once you record those videos, you then want to use YouTube's built-in scheduler, okay? YouTube has their scheduler. You can schedule your videos out weeks, months at a time. I know some people who have content created, some people create 20, 30 plus videos in one day, right? So you're talking about if you got a schedule of doing one video a week and you record 20 or 30 videos in a day, and I know that sounds crazy, but there are people that I know that are actually doing that, right? So they're saving a massive amount of time. They might spend a whole day doing what they're doing, but it's crazy the amount of time they're saving. All right. And then the most important thing is tracking and adjusting. All right. So you're going to track what's happening. Is my content getting better? Am I getting a higher view rate? So like, you start to look at these things inside of your analytics and you'll start to notice like, oh, okay, we're getting better here. We're getting better there. And then as you do that, you adjust based on what's happening. If you got things working over here, keep doing those things. If things aren't working in this area, then stop doing those things and find a way to get better. Or you can either stop it or find a way to get better at it, all right? Hopefully you got a ton of value from this video. And if you did, definitely go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Also, if you want to learn how to grow on YouTube without spending tons of hours every day, then I put together a Google Doc that lists out all the details about my Video Ranking Accelerator program. Now, inside of my Accelerator program, you're going to learn how to create a content system that fits your lifestyle, number one. Number two, you're going to learn how you can use AI and speed up your workflow so you can create content and more videos faster. And then lastly, you're also going to learn a ranking strategy that'll allow you to consistently bring in views on complete autopilot. So click the link, take a look at it, and if you take a look and you see it as a good fit and you want me to help you out, then go ahead, go throughout the processes that they have there, and then I'll be on my way to communicating with you very soon. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Peace.